Right, well this is the first outdoor video that I've done for my blog, which is completely indoors. Just a quick video about this new pot set that I've got, the Optimus Terra Solo pot set. I was quite intrigued by this. I've used my Alpkit Mighty Mug, which is over here, since I started backpacking again. I absolutely loved it. It's the first piece of kit I bought, or lightweight kit I bought when I got back into backpacking. But when going out with friends who have, well, let's say more heavyweight kit, they always end up having frying pans, sausages, bacon, lots of nice food, and you do get slightly jealous eating rehydrated meals out of your pot and then drinking tea out of your pot and having breakfast out of your pot. And sometimes it would be quite nice just to be able to fry something up and do something a bit more adventurous. This pot caught my eye basically because it's a pot and a mini frying pan all in one, which is not much bigger than the normal titanium mugs. It's made out of hard anodised aluminium, and it comes in this natty little bag. I think depending on what sort of stove that you've got, if I was going to use this with my Esbit stove, I'd probably replace this bag with a sil nylon one. Obviously because your pots get quite sooty, but this pot's been cleverly designed for use with gas canisters. Optimus has made it so basically you can fit all your brew kit and your canisters into the pot, and you've got a very nice compact little set, which I'll just demonstrate now. Windshield, quite important when you're using any sort of stove, and especially with a gas stove. Pot, which I've always put in that way up when I've put stoves and tried to fit around things around the outside, but the picture on the box shows it much better if you put it in that way, which seems quite sensible now you think about it. I've got a little Coleman F1 stove there, just again a well used and very abused piece of kit that fits in quite nicely. What else do we need? Lighter, little mini sponge, always essential, and one other essential piece of equipment: tea bags and powdered milk. Now, looking at the pot, you think that's not going to fit, but obviously the frying pan has got quite a bit of depth to it, and hey presto, all fits in a very nice compact little bundle. The pot itself I've been using, well, I've used it on a few day walks. I've not been out backpacking for a while, and I also used it inside just to give it a bit of a test. It's performance wise, I mean, it's not much difference. I mean, boiling, it takes, well, it's nothing between this and the titanium pots. There's about a 5-second difference, but the 5 seconds can be this one or the titanium, depending on I don't know, some very non-scientific tests that I've done. Weight wise, it's listed at being at 200 grams. On my scales it's 194, whether it's 200 with the bag included, I'm not sure, but it seems to be bang on, which compares quite favourably to titanium pots. The Alpkit pot weighs 128 grams with a lid, and this pot obviously is actually 2 pots rather than just the one, so it's not too bad. Also, which the thing that really intrigued me about this is, as I said earlier, is the frying pan. Titanium is not a good metal for frying with unless it's got some sort of non-stick coating on the inside. It's a very poor heat transfer, so you just tend, where the heat is, it just goes straight through and burns whatever there. Aluminium is a better material for frying with, and you know, it does look slightly gimmicky and slightly small, but they're very well made. The pots, the handles do not move. You have to squeeze it and bend it round, and it goes in with a nice satisfying click. And I have tried it, and it is surprisingly good, which I'll do a demonstration of in a minute. The main pot itself, again, I find the handles very good. There's a little bit of warmth that comes through them when you're actually using it. I'm not sure if you can see there, but there is quite significant indentations in the inside to show the measurements. And I don't tend to use more than 500 ml of water for any of the dehydrated meals that I use, and this takes 600. Obviously, when using it as a pot, it goes on your stove, and you've got your frying pan as a lid. Interestingly as well, this is the Outkit Mighty Mug, which is the same as the Vargo tea light. The frying pan sits quite nicely on top of there as well, so if you did want to use it as an extra pot for your titanium one, you can do that as well. Obviously the frying pan itself weighs 62 grams, the lid off the Mighty Mug weighs 22, so for an extra 40 grams you've got yourself a frying pan as well. So I'll do some demonstrations in a minute, just to show you how non-stick and how useful it actually is. Right, for the purposes of this demonstration I'm not going to be firing up the mini outdoor stove. Just seems a bit of a waste of a gas cartridge, because it's just to show you that actually the pot does, or the frying pan does work. And obviously boiling water is boiling water, and I'm not going to be showing you that. So we'll just we'll get this fired up. It gives out a similar pattern to the F1 and the small gas burners, this ring anyway, so it does give you a bit of an idea of what you can actually do. I think a key to any of these pots is make sure you've got plenty of oil. I always take olive oil with me when I go camping anyway, because I like to dip bread in it. It's easier than taking butter. And talking of bread, obviously bread can be quite difficult to come by if you're wild backpacking. However, I do make up my own mixture of bannock bread, which is exceptionally filling. 3 of these little, well, this is quite a big one actually, but 3 of these can fill you up, and you can just take a bag of the mix and then mix it with a little bit of water, and a little bit of water is definitely what you need to be using. If you don't use a little bit of water, it just turns into an absolute sticky mess, because at the end of the day you're making dough with it, not a mixture. So I'm just going to use the implements that I use when I'm backpacking to make this, obviously, because there's no point in using a full kitchen's worth of implements to demonstrate a stove when you've not got those implements with you in the field. So it is just this tiny Sea to Summit spoon that I've got. As I say, bannock bread, or any sort of fresh bread, when you're out in the hills is absolutely, well, it's just an absolute luxury. And again, this cooks exceptionally fast, so I will try and do this without burning, and it always does look horrifically burnt, but when you actually taste it, the burning is well, it's not really burning, it's just a bit of charring around the outside, and it tastes quite nice. I'll put the recipe for the bannock bread on the actual text part of the blog. It's not a massively traditional recipe, I'm guessing, because I doubt very much that the ancient Scots and they used to use bannock bread, used to use milk powder in their recipes, but it is very nice when you do, well, as I said, fresh bread in the middle of nowhere. Just add water and a bit of frying. It's brilliant. I've tried to do this in the titanium pots, and yes, you can do it, but it makes a hell of a mess, which can be very, very difficult to clean out of the pots. So we'll just keep flipping and turning this, because that side needs a bit more yet. Obviously, you'll be able to tell that I've not quite landed that lucrative role as a TV chef yet. It'll be there soon, but not quite yet. So we'll just wait for that to cook. Another good test is fried eggs. If you can fry an egg in a pan without it sticking horrendously, then I think you're doing all right. So we'll just get this finished off, and then we'll quickly do an egg, and then we'll take it from there. Right, so that's the bread done. Believe me, it does always look that charred, but it does actually taste quite spectacular. The pan itself, well, there we are. It looks quite a mess. However, because it is relatively non-stick, and this all does come out in a quick rinse under the tap, without much hassle. It's relatively clean, so I'll just put that on there to dry out a wee bit, and then we'll crack on with the thing that could cause the most bother, a fried egg, and just leave the remnants of the water to burn off. And then we'll get some fat in there. Obviously I don't carry a tea towel around with me when I'm camping, but again I think for this it's plenty of oil. And I always take olive oil with me, as I said, and I think the olive oil with the bannock bread mixture is lovely. I have cracked the egg into a glass this time. I am slightly cheating, but I'm sure we can all get away without having to use a glass to crack an egg. Because of the size of this pan, obviously you can't be getting a spatula and getting in, so I think it's just a case of keeping the heat down low and well, leaving it there. I'm not going to video the whole thing because it does take 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll come back to when it's done. Right, we're getting somewhere near now. As you can see, it's coming nice and easily away from the pan. It's just sat there. I've not fiddled with it at all. It just seems to work. Well, it fries food and it doesn't stick. So what more can you ask for a little frying pan? Not far off being done. Obviously, if I was out and about now, I'd be getting my bannock bread and just dipping into there and everything else. But you know, I'm at home after all, so why not be slightly civilised and use a plate? So I think that is about done. And even with the most rudimentary of implements, you can get the egg out of there. And onto the plate. Still plenty of oil left, which obviously you can use for something else. And as you can see, the pan itself is relatively clean, and a quick rub around with a sponge and that's going to be perfectly clean. So you know, you can't say much better than that. And all it is now is just to rip a bit of bread off. You can't cut bread with a knife apparently, so I don't know why. Some folklore. Obviously your legs will fall off or something, but bit of bread, bit of egg. Should have done a Hugh Fanning-Whittlesey flourish then, but you know, what more can you ask for when you're out on the hills? A bit of eggy bread. So there we have it. The Optimus Terra Solo. You know, it's not the lightest pot in the world. It's one of the most functional ones, and I really like it. I think it's definitely going to find a way in my backpack, especially for just weekends out and messing around with friends and stuff. It's a nice little pot, and for 20 quid as well, you can't really go wrong. Right, see you soon.